Hi, welcome to Luxury in Moderation, where we appreciate the better things in life without going overboard. Today, I want to talk about budgeting and the two main ways I go about buying my bags. Now, I have both my Chanel Jumbo here and my Hermes tote, and that's because I bought these two bags in these two different ways, and they're also just a little bit of eye candy. So before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Every week I upload videos about luxury handbags and other luxury lifestyle products. So if you like what you hear, please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can join me on this luxury journey. So first, let's set the stage of how I kind of generally budget anyways. Usually after paying my taxes and funding 401k retirement funds, I have my take-home pay, and I think of that take-home pay in thirds. 1/3 goes to my living expenses, like paying for my apartment, or you could be paying a mortgage. And then there's utilities, my phone bill, my car insurance, and also now streaming services. So 1/3 of my take-home pay goes to all of those fixed expenses. The next third is my additional savings account for like retirement, or if I'm going to buy a house in the future, or just saving in general. So that third will either go to a savings account or a investment account for that money to be set aside for when I need it in the future. And then the last third is what I would bucket as my variable expenses. So I include food in that. So, some months I might bring home groceries and cook at home a lot more. Other times I might go out to eat a lot more. So these expenses fluctuate. And this last third is also any money I can use toward shopping or, anything I want to buy that, now that I've taken care of my savings and my bills, I'm free to use this money as I would like. So now, getting into the first way that I have usually bought my luxury handbags, and about this time of year is when I usually start thinking about making a bigger luxury purchase, usually a handbag. And that's because around the end of February or the March timeframe is when my company pays out a bonus. So I have a larger chunk of money in addition to my usual paycheck that I will still think about saving either a third or a half of that. And then whatever is left over, I can then use that towards a luxury purchase. In addition to that, around this time frame is also when I get my tax refund. So I would usually file my taxes a little bit earlier in the year, and then by March or April, I have my tax refund back with me. And that chunk of money, in addition to the half of my bonus that I didn't save, would be my budget for that luxury purchase. Also, this makes sense for me because my birthday is in April, and I think of it as like a good time to treat myself as kind of like an early birthday present. So that was how I purchased my very first Chanel Classic Flap in the navy, and also how I purchased my Chanel Jumbo last year. So it's this chunk of money that comes in addition to, what I'm normally getting. So I'm comfortable in spending that because my normal income is still paying for my everyday expenses, and this chunk of money is something extra that I can put towards this very expensive hobby that I have. So now the second way that I am budgeting for luxury, I just started last year, and that would be slowly putting money away every month from that third bucket that I talked about when I split my take-home pay into thirds. Usually that third bucket is put towards some little travels, whether they're weekend getaways or if I'm traveling to a friend's wedding. That money was usually used up with my travel for the year. Obviously, last year, all the travel plans were canceled, so I did actually have some money left over every month that I could save up and then spend on, luxury. And that is how I bought my Hermes canvas tote last year. Basically, the money that I had that I was going to put towards travel, plane tickets, hotels, food, all of that was just sitting in my bank account now that those, travel plans were canceled. And so I had that extra money to buy more luxury last year. So this year, I'm actually doing a combination of both methods, which is getting that chunk of money from my bonus and also from my tax refund, putting that in a safe place where I'm not going to spend it, and also adding to that chunk of money every month with my leftover income after paying my bills, after saving for retirement. Anything that I am not spending on food basically this year, I'm contributing towards this luxury fund. And this year it's actually been easier because if you watched my no buy list for this year, you'll know that I'm not buying any clothes. So usually a lot of my variable expenses would be towards clothes that I was buying, just a couple pieces every month, but it would add up. So at the beginning of this year, I actually wrote down what my take home pay would be. I wrote out all of my fixed expenses, including, the house, the car, all the bills. And then I knew that another third would go towards savings. And I did a budget on my final third of how much I thought I could spend on food every month, how much, I just have, miscellaneous things that I have to spend on every month. And finally, I was left over with what I could save towards luxury every month. So every month, I make sure I stick to that budget. I know that my fixed expenses is going to stay fixed. I know I'm going to be saving a certain amount every month. And then I also make sure that what I spend on food and those miscellaneous expenses don't exceed what I had already written out and given myself for. So every month I do go through all of my credit cards. I do use credit cards to pay for most things so that I can get the points and cash back. But I never leave any debt on those cards. I pay everything in full, so I'm not accruing that interest cost because, that's just money wasted. So every month I go through all of my credit card statements and I write out exactly, I spent $5 on food on Monday, I spent $10 on food on Tuesday, and I add those up and I make sure those are all within budget and I'm not overspending on anything because one of my priorities this year is to save for luxury. So every month, that's my exercise. I make sure I know where my money is going, that I'm not buying anything extraneous. So then every month, I can put whatever's left towards my luxury fund. So I thought this video would be helpful if you are trying to save up for some of your luxury pieces. I did first start with that first method because when I was just starting out working, my take-home pay was smaller, so I was, kind of using it all up towards my living expenses, and that's why I would only have one big luxury purchase per year because, that's when the bonus and the tax refund came in. But now that I do have a little bit more income every month, I'm able to put a little bit towards that luxury fund every month. And so I feel like I'm definitely working towards making a good budget for myself, making sure I still pay for the necessities first and fund a savings account first, and then whatever's left over, I can fund my luxury purchases. I think it was super helpful for me to actually sit down and write out all of my expenses, write out what I wanted to save every month, and just know where my money is going. I'm definitely not a finance person. I don't know how to invest and, double my money every month and, become rich that way. But at least I'm trying to get a good grasp of where my money is going, how much things cost, how much I'm spending. And if I have a luxury goal and I actually want to save more, then I can remind myself, hey, don't do this. Maybe, eat in more so I'm not spending so much on food, and then I can put more towards savings. So I think it's a really great idea for everybody to just know a little bit more about their money. Just write it down, keep an eye on it every month, and get to know your money. That's what I like to call it. And then you won't have to feel guilty if you are purchasing a larger ticket item, a luxury thing that's not a necessity, because you know that you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your future self first, and this is just a little bit of money that you are enjoying for yourself and buying some nice pieces for yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this video and subscribe below, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye!